Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Brennan. For those of us who haven't met, I'm so excited to be back with you all and here, and I'll be here actually a couple times during the summer. So later on, I'm going to share some stories of doing theater church for like a year and a half, and you'll enjoy it. I loved it. It was we started a campus in a church in a theater, and it was a lot of fun, but we have some fun stories that I can share. But one of the things I wanted to start off is, hey, I've gotten text and phone calls and emails with a conspiracy. It is not a Clark Kent kind of Superman situation. Adam and I actually are two separate people. I know we've never been in the same room at the same time, but today actually solves that problem. Okay. I know you always think, man, that guy, that Brendan looks just as handsome as Adam. I know, but we are two separate people. But no, I'm excited to be here. I forgot, I didn't know if you all got your props this morning. You got the little orange earplugs, so you can put them in, take a nap while I talk for a little bit. It's all good. I'm here all night and all week. So no, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I love summer. I don't know about you. Like, summer's the best. Okay. I know it's warm, whatever. It's great. Okay. We get to be outside. The sunlight is there till like past 9. Like, it's just the anticipation of being able to do some fun things outdoors, maybe with family, maybe friends, like go on your own walk, like all of these things that happen during summer. And maybe, I don't know for you all, maybe there's a trip that you've been on or you're getting ready for and you're excited about. Actually, I'm going to take a quick poll. Anyone, just clap if you are taking a trip, like a road trip in the car going on a big journey. Okay, a few road trippers. Okay, how about plane? You're going far enough? We got some plane trippers. Okay, how about a boat? Now, that could be a day or like a cruise, either one. Okay, there's some boat people. Okay, awesome. How about a train? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, hey, you may think, okay, no, there's no way I'm getting on a train. Okay, my family, we lived in Southern California for a while, and we were coming back to Missouri to visit family, and we did the sleeper car thing from LA to Kansas City, and it was incredible. Like, I'm just telling you, don't knock it till you try it. It's very peaceful. Like, it's not like airports where it's like this and you don't have to drive. Just try it, okay? But anyways, like, we have these moments in the summer where we can be excited for, like, maybe an event, maybe a moment, maybe a trip. This year, I've told you I'm a big giant nerd, okay? And one of my favorite things is Major League Baseball. And this year, for the first time ever, I get to check it out. I'm going to the All-Star game, okay? And that will be like, I've hit all 30 stadiums. I've done all the different playoff spots, like all of that. This is like the culmination of a long time. And I'm like jonesed about it. Like, I'm so ready. It's going to be awesome. And I hope that you have something this summer that you are excited about. But one of the things around Hope City that I've loved since I've been a part of it is we do a summer series. Now, I have to admit, my first summer, like with Hope City, and I was up in Joplin, and we're talking about a summer series. I was like, that's a long series, talking about the same thing. And I was like, I don't know about that. But I've actually grown to love the topics in the Bible, like books that we go through, the chapters we go through, and being able to connect holistically through a summer in a topic. And it's been a lot of fun. And I'm excited about this one. I don't know how many of you all like spend dedicated time in the Psalms. I know that for most of my life, I just tried to stay away from it because I was like, "Oh, okay, I don't know, it's in the middle of there and they keep talking about some kind of emotion and I'd rather just ignore it." You know what I mean? And I think some of it was like just in my personal life, I just hadn't experienced enough. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, why so downcast my soul? I don't know. Like, just go outside. I'm not sure. Like, that's how I felt. But then, life takes a swing at you, and then you're like, oh, now I get the Psalms a little bit. And I love being able to connect the different chapters written by different people over different time periods, connect to every emotion that we can have, all the human emotions, that you can go from one that is just complete sorrow to the next that is complete joy, and see that that's how life is. That is our journey. And that's why I'm excited about going through the Psalms this summer I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. Go a shout out, Happy Father's Day. Okay, Adam hit on that as far as that goes. Celebrate you all, and just knowing, and not to belabor the point or whatever, but this day can have a lot of emotions for a lot of different people. And this message isn't going to be specifically for fathers, but we are going to connect to the great Father, the perfect Father, and that's what the Psalms helps us with. Like, what are the characters that we as humans and as fathers can live out and live in to be the best version that we are created to be? And so a shout out to you all in this day, and we celebrate you. And we're going to look at Psalms 46 today. So if you want to get to that, we're not going there quite yet, but we're going to check out the character of God in that. Now, I have to tell you and kind of go through, like, I love to battle. Okay. I've got these right here. So like boxing gloves. Any of you all give a shout out. Do you box? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk. Okay. Eye contact whole time. All right. Here we are. No, but so I like to box. And I think it started because of Mike Tyson Punch Out, right? You know, like back in the day, if you've played that, so awesome. If you haven't, you've missed out, and you need to. And just being like, okay, and I've always been a little bit feisty, and I kind of like to fight, and I may get myself in a little bit of a trouble. That's weaned off a little bit later in life, but I just like to battle. I want things to be fair, and when they're not fair, like, I want to fight you. Okay. And that's how it was. And I can remember even in like middle school, there was a moment that it wasn't fair. And I was like, I'm going to be the king of this moment. You know, like, I am going to make things fair, because Mike Sweeney took the basketball from us. You know what I mean? And you don't take the basketball when it's not your time to have the basketball. So it was time to fight. Right? So we're on the playground, and should I? No. Should you get a teacher? Yes. But it just seemed more logical to fight. So we do, like, we battle up like any other grade school fighting, right? And you go and you more dance than you do anything. But then something happened. I realized I can't fight, and I got beat up pretty bad. Like, I was like, oh man, I was doing the right thing. I'm standing up. We both got detention. I just hurt. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm not that good. So later in college, I decided, you know, with a group of us, because this is what smart college guys do, is we were going to start like this amateur, like, boxing night. Right. And we were going to do this at a friend's house, and we're going to fight and learn and all of this kind of stuff. So it was the first Sunday night. We've gotten together. We had some gloves. Like, this is how, like, low key it was. Like, we ordered pizza before, and like our mouthpieces were the cardboard. You know what I mean? Like, so we had that in, and like we were going to do rounds in the living room, but like we didn't have a bell. We were just going by like music playlist. So it was time to fight. The first round, it was Rage Against the Machines, and I can remember Guerrilla Radio. Here we go. It's up, and we're going to fight. And me and Caleb, we're going around, and I'm like, I feel pretty good about myself. Like, this is good. Jab, jab. Okay, yeah. Block. Yeah, here we are. I'm going around. And then it's kind of, so in the song, it goes to this bridge, and it kind of goes down before it crescendos way back up, right? And to get loud. And I remember Caleb, he goes, hey, are you ready? And I was like, that's kind of a funny thing to say, because we're like almost done with the first round. Of course, we've been ready the whole time. Apparently he hadn't, because the next thing, again, I know, is I'm on my knees on the ground, and I have been hit so hard that I'm like, I know we're at Caleb's house, but what is happening right now? And that was kind of the end of boxing for a while for me, to be honest. I did not join that club. I didn't stay in that club. They did it, you know, first rule of boxing club is I'm apparently not supposed to talk about it, but I ended it. Now, later in life, I decided the way I like to work out is actual boxing. So I learned the techniques. I learned the footwork. I learned the handwork. I learned what to do with the body, what to do with your arms, and actually have a heavy bag and still hit. Like, I mean, I need to do more, but I finally learned, like, in a battle, if you're going to box and you're in a battle with another person, you got to know what you're doing. Like, you got to have technique. You got to practice. You got to do all of these things. You can't just show up to a battle and expect to win. That's not how it works. And it doesn't work that way in life either. Because all of us, like, those are just jokes and those are funny moments, but we all have battles in life. We all come into a place where we've put the gloves on and whatever it is on the other side has the gloves on and it's time to go. And maybe that's been a relational thing for you, or maybe it's been a job and a situation in there. Maybe it's with family or finances, or maybe it's been something internal. Maybe it's been in your mind or your emotions or a spiritual battle. Just we have these moments that we battle in life. Sometimes we bring it on ourselves. Sometimes we don't see it, just comes out of nowhere. But we're there and we find ourselves in a battle. And honestly, that's where Psalms 46 comes in. Because some of the Psalms that, they're by David, and he has this, palace, and he's looking over the kingdom, and he has these things. Or it's Solomon, and look at the splendor and the prizes and the money and the armies and all of this kind of stuff. But that's not Psalm 46. Psalm 46 is in the desert. Like, it's written by Levites who are leading worship as the people of Israel are roaming in the desert. They're nomads. They have no home. They've left Egypt because it was horrible and God delivered them. And they're trying to go to a promised land, but they've never seen it. And they know there's a fight waiting for them. But the problem is they're in the desert and all it is a fight. All it is a battle. It may be an actual battle with people who, you're easy to pick off in the desert. Or maybe a battle of like, at least we had food in Egypt. Or God, what are you doing? And people are dying. And what is happening? And that's where Psalms 46 is written. But I think it's interesting that we actually go into 46. And when we look at it, it may not be written in the tone that we would expect for people wandering in a desert, not knowing where they're going, when they're going. So I want us to check that out. And we're going to read through the whole thing. And maybe you receive the Bible by just shutting your eyes and listen. I'll read through it. Maybe you're better visually and you can read it along. But let's see what these writers, in the midst of battle, write about God. 46 goes like this. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear. Though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at the break of day. Nations are in an uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice and the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. And this is written by a battling people, but in confidence. Like, these aren't defeated terms. These aren't losing terms. These aren't people who don't know that someone bigger is on their side and in control. Now, they should give up. Like, they should say, no, we can't do this anymore. With everything that's coming their way, they should say enough is enough, but they write in confidence. But how? How can they do that? Well, it comes down to two terms that are in there. The whole psalm is good, but two terms. The first is come and see what the Lord has done. They understand a concept. Come and see what the Lord has done. Before we go into that, we'll see the second. Be still and know that I am God. That becomes tricky, doesn't it? Because when you're in a battle, you think you need to activate. You need to plan. You need to figure out. You need to solve. It's yours. But often, that still just leaves us in the battle, wondering when is it going to end? But they have a confidence, and where they get that confidence is in that first part. Come and see what the Lord has done. Can you imagine what they've actually seen? Well, actually, Psalms 46 actually shows us what they've seen, and we'll take a look at them up here. It's just a list of things that what the people of Israel have seen. How can they write it? They saw God as the refuge. When the plagues were happening in Egypt, who was protected? When the child dies on the last plague, who is protected by the blood of the Lamb? They saw that they are in a refuge provided by God. They saw that he is the strength. He is the one that leads them into the desert. And when they come to battles of Ai and other places, that he is the one that leads them through. He is the strength that they have. That he's a fortress. Because they can look back and they can see that the walls of the water of the Red Sea opened and they could come through a fortress of salvation provided by God. And help. Where are you going to get food in the desert? But he brings it each day in manna. He brings water from rocks. He is their help, that they can see that only he provides. And he ends things. He ends the troubles that they had had. He ends the slavery that they were in to bring them into a promised land. But man, one of the most important, and it says it, he is with. God is with them. And they visibly see it during the day with the cloud, and they see it at night with the fire, and they know that God is leading them. Now, they don't know when or where or how exactly, but they can see that God is with them. They have a leader that is connecting with God, and they know that God is with them. Come and see what the Lord has done. But it doesn't end there, and that's what's amazing. Because this language continues on to the Bible, and we go to the New Testament, and we see Jesus. And he comes and changes the world, but he uses these same terms. He says to John and James, right? He says, come and see, follow me. See what I will do and what you will do with me. If Philip and Andrew have a banter back and forth, come and see what this guy from Nazareth can do. This language is there. And what did the disciples see? They saw some amazing things. They saw the blind actually see. Their eyes are open. They saw lame walk, the ability to walk on water, and Peter also doing that. But even more, when they thought God was dead, he came back. He wants to be with us so much that nothing will separate that. Why do we look back and see the people of Israel in moments of struggle have confidence? Why do we see disciples go to the ends of the earth and get tortured and beaten and jailed and murdered and have confidence? Because they saw what the Lord has done. So the question I have for us is, what have you seen? When you really think about it and you look back, what have you seen? When the gloves go on and the battles are there, what have you seen? And what have you seen in others? See, we get a privilege to be able to actually have the Bible and go through their history and see. But we also have our own experiences that we go through, that we journey in, and we get to see, and others that are sitting right next to you that have their own battles that they see. And that's the first step, that we just have to stop for a minute and see what the Lord has done. He has never failed. And he has never, ever stopped trying to be with us and fulfill his promises. But there's a next part, and maybe even the hardest part. I don't know which one is for you, to reflect back and see the promises and that he is battling for you and for others, or the next phrase, which is be still and know that he is God, right? Now, what I want to do is, like, I don't want to ruin the term for you, because a lot of times we talk about this in the sense of like, hey, have a quiet time. Absolutely. Okay, be still, know that he's God. You need to go out just like Jesus did and have a quiet time. But the way the writers here, this is a battle term. It actually means to cease and like drop your weapons. Like that's what's going on here. And there's two different sides. There's the people that are for God and there's the people that are fighting against God. And he's saying it to both. He's saying the only way to have confidence, the only way to know that the battle's going to win, the only way to get through what you are going to get through and get out of the desert and cross the river and get to the promised land is stop. Be still and know that I am God. And we have those moments, don't we? We don't know what to do. It seems like this will never end. It seems like we just get plagued with all of these things and we're in the midst of a battle. And God says, hey, I am with you. Be still. But there are moments that we're fighting against God, aren't there? I know I have. That I kind of know what the right thing is, but the right thing is not what I want to do. And I want to win. And I want it to be my way. And I'm battling with others and I'm battling with God. And what God says is, you can't win this. Stop. Be still. And see that my way is better. That he is with. And he is guide. And he will stand in the battle in the gap for us if we let him. Now, again, that is easy to say, isn't it? It's like, hey, everyone, now go do that. But the truth is there's simple ways that, like, we have to recognize that God is with us. Like, that is the key to all of this. So why they can have confidence and they can see what he's done, they can be still, is because they can see that God is with us. So how do we do that? How do we do that right now when the cloud's not before us and the fire's not before us and we're in the desert and we're trying to scrape away and figure out and we're scrappy and doing this? How do we see that God is with us? I think there's some simple ways. One of the most important is, because our helper is with us, the first way is the Holy Spirit. Now, we often neglect this, or we don't think about, oh, the Spirit is with us, but think about the powerful statement that God actually dwells within us. Like, nothing can defeat us because God is with us. I mean, if the writers in Psalm 46 had known that one day that the Spirit of God would actually not just go before, but be within, they'd be like, man, there's nothing we can't do. We have God within us. This is a spirit that Paul talks about in Romans 8 that says this spirit allows us to be children of God, to call out, Abba, God, and we gain the inheritance just like Jesus. And at the end of that chapter, what's really important is, because of that God within us, there is nothing that can separate us from that love. There's nothing that man can do. There's nothing that evil can do. There's nothing that we could face that could separate us, that God says, I am with you. Listen, be still. Cease to try your own way. Stop your frantic figuring out and problem solving and drawing on a whiteboard or whatever you do. Be still. I am with you. Now, I think another amazing way that he shows that he's with us is actually the church. It's the community. We were never meant to do this alone. Life is not meant to do alone. Life is meant to do as a community. And that's why he set it up that way. The people of Israel as a community, and this is how they do it, and this is how you worship, and this is how you live. And you come in and you bear each other's burdens, and you celebrate with those who celebrate, and you mourn with those who mourn, and you go and you teach and you instruct, and sometimes have hard conversations, and sometimes you just dance and party, and sometimes you do all sorts of things. But the church is to show the world that God is with us. That's why Hebrews, the writer of Hebrews says, don't forsake the assembly because it's too important. Because it's actually a demonstration of saying no matter what comes our way, we walk through these theater doors and we come together not as a specific building with a steeple, but a group of people who know that we're flawed, who in our battles depend on each other and God. But church is important to see that God is with us. And another way is the Bible. It seems like a really like church answer or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like if you were at like any kind of like church thing and the question was, whoa, you should say the Bible. It's probably right. Or they won't mark it wrong just because you said the Bible, right? But the truth of it is, it's a very important thing of 66 collection of books of people throughout history that are sharing the story of God saying, I want you. You are so important to me that I would move heaven and earth to come be with you so that forever we can be together. That's just a short way to say the Bible. He loves us and he will do whatever. And that's how we see he's with us. We see that he sent a son. We see that there is a helper and a provider in the Holy Spirit. We see that there is a church and a collection of people to do this together. We see God is with us because the Bible helps us see it. And when we read it in that lens and see God's character through that way, it can change the way we look at the Bible. It's not just rules or a list of this, that, and the other. No, it's a connection of the story of God of saying, I am with you. That no matter what battle you're in, no matter what desert you find yourself, that there is a Jordan River to cross to be with him. And he'll do it. It's not dependent on you. Now, some of you know this part of my story because I mentioned it earlier in the year, but one of the biggest battles, obviously, my family had gone through was 2011, and when Gavin, our son, passed away. And it was significant, and it was altering, and it's a battle. And like I would lie to you to be like, hey, it's never a battle anymore. It's a battle. It feels like a desert, and you don't know where to go or what's going to happen, and you're there, and you're trapped, and like me, I want to lead my way out of it. Well, I found myself setting up. I was working at a church during all of this, and I was there by myself, kind of getting student ministry ready before volunteers got there, students got there, and everything was going to go on for the night. And I just realized I'm really mad. And I saw the cross that was like on our stage back there, and like I'm not trying to be sacrilegious or anything, but I was like, I just don't care. Like, I'm just mad. And I finally got mad. And like, through my tears, this is just the kind of the way I battle is I challenged God. I said, hey, I'm going to do my part. Okay. But you're going to have to show me you're God and you're good or I'm done. Like, and not done with like the whole pastor thing, but done as in like, I just, you know what? Like I could do other things on Sundays apparently and every other night of the week. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm done. So I said, here's the challenge, okay? I'm going to read the Bible from the beginning to the end. However long that takes me, show me your God, show me your good, or let's just agree to disagree. So we started the challenge. And as you know, I'm standing here, so like that's kind of the ending, right? Is like I'm going through it, and I start to see that these people had their own battles, their own challenges. And I came to see that the Lord had done some amazing things. And he helped in there, and there were still struggles, but he helped in there, and he was good, and he guided, and he battled, and he brought him through the desert. And I keep going. And all during this time, we're at this church, and this family started to come up to us, and we knew them before, but after every Sunday, they had us come over to their house. Every Sunday afternoon, we'd come over, and she was actually a therapist, but that wasn't just all about it. But we got to talk, and then my daughter got to do some creative talking with her, and then we would have a life group with other people would come that night, and we'd have ice cream with strawberries, like pretty much every time, ice cream and strawberries. And Sunday after Sunday, and I'm reading the Bible, and I'm seeing these stories, and I'm seeing the West family connect to us, and I'm going through all this stuff, and you get to the point where you're experiencing the goodness of God with other people that are called the church, and I get to Revelation 21, and it says, "And I will make all things new," and I felt it in me. I am not the one who's going to win this battle. And I may still tiptoe in the desert, and I have other moments that are there, but there was a crossing of the water. And I don't know where you are today. I don't know if you're going into a battle, you're in the middle of that battle, or you're coming out. But here's what I want to tell you. See what the Lord has done. Go to Psalm 46. Speak in the confidence that he's already won. And instead of trying to do this all on your own, be still. Be still with others. Be still and read. And be still and listen to the Spirit that is within you telling you a better way. Because he is with us. And as we go on in this summer, and we go on days, months, and years from now, I want us to be a collection of people that have the confidence of the writers of Psalm 46 and say, no matter what comes my way, God, I see what you have done, and I see the river to cross. Help me cease and follow you. Will you pray with me? Father, we thank you. We thank you so much for who you are, what you do, and how you are with us. And that I know there are people in this room that are in the middle of a battle. And I pray that they will sense you, experience you, feel you, and know that they are not alone, that you are with them and Hope City is with them. We are collective people to help and guide. And we know as we even continue in this day and in this journey that sometimes it's hard, but you have already won. There's no desert too big. There's no river so wide that you cannot lead us through into the promised land. And I pray that you will do that. I pray that you will do that for the people in this room that are right there, and prepare those who are going into one and know that you are good. Help us as we continue to worship, to sing these words with power and confidence that you are in control. In Jesus' amazing name, amen.